Hey everybody, welcome back to Bucks Beat, episode 167 today. And this will be an early SEC championship game preview. Georgia, Alabama. Bama's dominated the rivalry, going 3-0 against the Bulldogs in the SEC championship game since Kirby Smart became the Georgia head coach. And Coach Smart's teams are now 1-6 against Alabama after the loss at Sanford Stadium back in September. But I don't really believe, I don't think it, I believe it, that none of those matchups have anything to do with the outcome of the game coming up on Saturday. So don't believe that boogeyman nonsense that you hear maybe at your coffee shop. Currently, Georgia comes in a 2.5-point favorite in the game. Now, both teams are dealing with some key injuries, and Alabama's offense will be without their starting running back, Jam Miller, and tight end Josh Cuevas. Georgia's offense got hit hard last week, losing center Drew Bobo with what I hear is a broken foot. It's going to keep him out the rest of the season. Make no mistake about it, this is huge on the Georgia side of the ball. Drew Bobo has played a very high level this season. And the center position is one of the most important positions on a football team at any level. Going to handle the ball on every snap. The captain of that offensive line. Now, what Coach Smart and the offensive line coach Stacy Searles, what they choose to do, I'm sure is up in the air right now. How will they replace Drew Bobo in what will be the biggest game of the season? This could very well be the key to winning and losing. When Drew Bobo left the game injured against Georgia Tech last week, the next man up was redshirt freshman Malachi Tolliver, who played high school ball at Cartersville. The drop-off against Tech was noticeable, especially in the run game. This really showed up. With Drew Bobo at center, the Dogs averaged 5.5 yards a carry. With Tolliver at center, the Bulldogs averaged 2.5 yards a carry. That's a huge concern coming into the game. So with a full work week of preparation, will Coach Smart and Coach Searles stick with Malachi Tolliver? Get him coached up with practice reps, get him a little more comfortable, a little more confident, throw him back out there on Saturday? Another option would involve another freshman, Cortez Smith, who went to high school at Parkview here in Metro Atlanta, who has not played this season. Chew on that for a second. That's certainly not ideal. Redshirt freshman Waltclaire Flynn out of Grayson High School transferred in from UCF this spring, and he has no game experience this season either. Perhaps the best option is choosing to go in a different direction. Go with an old school offensive philosophy. I'm sure you football fans have heard this before. How the offensive coordinator or line coach or the head coach is saying, we're going with the best 5 guys on the offensive line. We've got about 12 of them, and we're going to rotate them around. We're going to go with the top 5 guys when it comes game time. So with that in mind, you could slide senior guard Micah Morris from left guard to center. He's repped it, I believe, way back in camp, rep center a little bit, just in case for an emergency. You could slide freshman Dontrell Glover from right guard over to center. He's a freshman. Plug in Juan Gaston at guard. That would be, at this point, Georgia's top 5 offensive linemen if you did that. Dontrell Glover hit campus, by the way, a guard center option. And he has repped it, as I understand it, rep center a little bit in practice during the course of the year, again, as an emergency insurance policy. And he's played really well at guard. I mean, he's been a huge surprise for the Bulldogs this season. After consulting with several of my offensive line sources, guys that I trust, guys that have played offensive line at a high level, a couple of issues are in play here. Coach Bobo, you may have noticed, uses a lot of through motion from one side of the ball to the other side of the ball out of the shotgun. So you got that motion coming across right in front of the quarterback. The center's got to be right on time with a snap. That complicates the snap execution, I'm told. Will Coach Bobo put Gunnar Stockton under the center more instead of in the shotgun? Will they put him under the center in this matchup? That would be a consideration. That would make it easier on any of these centers that are going to have to play. What I would do, seeing what Malachi Tolliver brought to the table in an emergency situation last week in clean old-fashioned hate, seeing that, I think I'd go with one of these guys that have played some football. Micah Morris is a senior, all right? Glover has played the position too, and he's played a lot at guard and a little bit at tackle this season. Very versatile. Tolliver, Smith, and Flynn just don't appear to be ready for this huge assignment against Alabama. I tell you, their senior nose tackle, Tim Keenan, must be licking his chops over in Tuscaloosa right now. He can't wait to get out there and take on one of these backup centers in the game. He thinks he's going to be the star of the game. And why wouldn't he? Keenan has already commented on this being a matchup edge for Alabama on the line of scrimmage, their defensive line against this Georgia offensive line. So he's on record there. I wonder what Stacy Searles and Coach Smart, I wonder what they decide to do. Stay tuned. We may learn a little more later this week. All right, let's flip to the other side of the ball. Alabama has some concerns on offense, too. It's not just Georgia. Crimson Tide has some concerns over there. Jam Miller's out with an injured ankle. He's their top running back. Their best tight end, Josh Cuevas, he's out. He won't play in the game. They're going to face a little bit of a drop-off at both of those positions, running back and tight end. Not ideal coming into a game you need to win. But there's another spot that is even a bigger concern as I look at Alabama's offense, and that is their big play wide receiver, Ryan Williams. Ryan Williams has gone missing. He's gone MIA, missing in action at the wrong time. 0 targets in the Iron Bowl. Ball didn't go his way one time. 1 catch in the last 2 games. What's going on? Ryan Williams was a preseason first-team All-SEC projection. And right now, he is not impacting this Alabama offense. Jeremy Bernard and Isaiah Horton are carrying the load, and Jeremy Bernard is banged up. He's dinged up a little bit. He's less than 100%. They've gone to freshman slot receiver. Brooks is trying to pick up the slack. Is it Lotzier Brooks? I think that's the way you pronounce it. He's picked up some of the slack. But what is wrong with Ryan Williams? It's been a nightmare season for a guy expected to be sort of an All-American caliber guy, an impact guy, a difference maker. Had a concussion in the season opening loss to Florida State, so he got off to a terrible start. Drops have been a big-time issue for Ryan Williams this year. Dropping the ball, Trying to catch it with his pads, not with his hands. He's had real issues with that. Against Auburn, Ryan Williams was on the field for only 38 of the Tide's 75 snaps. Less than half the snaps. So quarterback Ty Simpson is missing his explosive big play receiver, and that shows up in these caliber games. When it's elite versus elite, you miss that explosive receiver. So that means right now Simpson's go-to guy is Horton, who stepped up big in the Iron Bowl with 3 touchdown catches. Alabama has had real issues running the ball effectively. You may have noticed they finished the regular season out of some 130 teams in college football, ranked 103rd in rushing offense, 13th in the SEC. 3.7 yards a carry, 125 yards a game. So Ty Simpson and the passing attack has had to lead the way. A lot of pressure on Simpson to carry the load and deliver. In the Auburn game, they had third down issues. They had short yardage issues. They had penalty issues. They had play clock issues. I mean, what's up with that? They can barely get the play off. I mean, he's getting the play late. And then he's trying to communicate what the play is going. They're snapping the ball when the clock's at 3, 2, 1, over and over again. And with Ryan Williams not making an impact and Jam Miller injured again, this Tide offense is they're in a bad place coming into the SEC championship game. So both teams really hurting on the offensive side of the ball. That's going to do it for this podcast. Check back later this week for a complete game breakdown of the SEC championship showdown between Alabama and Georgia.